SBS was good. It's spoken by Salman here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to another video, man. Thank you for coming through. I want to ask you guys a question. What was the first age that you first got exposed to porn? Whether somebody put you on or you found it on your own, sound off in the comments. Let me know. Because for me, in my case, I started when I was about 8 years old. And the sad part about it is I didn't even found it on my own. I had a friend recommend it to me. It was a neighborhood friend, a childhood friend that I was friends for years until he moved away. I don't know how he found out about it, but he was able to put it on to me. First, it was through YouTube. And if you guys don't know, this is about early 2010s. This isn't the YouTube that is here today. Back then, YouTube back in the mid and early 2010s was crazy. You could find sex videos and you could find explicit content so easily just off the search. The terms of conditions and the rules were so much more light back then. So you could post whatever you wanted, whatever cuss word you wanted. If you said whatever, you were still able to get monetized back then. And that's why back then they used to say it was less sensitive and people are sensitive now. But that's besides the point. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. Back in around second grade, maybe third grade, I was about 8 or 9 years old, right? My house used to be the spot where all my friend groups used to hang out. Where all my friends hung out, my house was the spot. Because I had an Xbox 360, so people wanted to play my games. I didn't have that many games, but people still wanted to play for some reason. So I remember one day they were using my dad's computer, searching through the web. And I'm in the other room, not even knowing what's going on, because I'm kind of doing my own thing. I think I was playing my Nintendo 3DS. You know me, I was a Nintendo kid. So I was playing my little Nintendo 3DS. I think I was playing either Mario Kart or Monster Hunter, some game like that. And I come out to see what everybody's doing, and everyone is crowded in front of a computer. And I'm just like curious as to what they're watching. Like, hey, what's going on? I look over, this is on my dad's computer where he puts his work documents and everything. These guys are on YouTube watching a sex scene of a girl giving head. No censorship either. All watching it together. Even second grade me, I was looking at them, they was all huddled up together like this, like it was the Legion of Doom or something. Like it was some type of evil plan or some group meeting. It's like they was watching film in the film room. You know, when you in basketball and you playing sports and you with a team meeting with the coach and you guys are all sitting in the room watching film. That's what it looked like, except it's a bunch of young little third, fourth graders, people under 13 years old. None of us were even the age of 13. And we're looking at this and they were looking at it and they were all watching it together. I was like, bruh, I didn't say anything because I was frozen. I didn't know what to say. But that was kind of my first big encounter with porn. And after that, I kind of just got roped into it. And it led to some pretty bad complications that still hit me to this day and might hit you. And that's why I bring this video today. Semen retention is much harder when you were exposed to X videos growing up. We're just gonna call it X videos for the sake of YouTube, right? Because like I said, YouTube was much lighter back then. It's not as light now. So I would say around fourth grade was the last time I remember first getting really hooked onto it. And you guys know my backstory. I've explained this a lot of times on my channel, how I even got addicted to the videos, right? The addiction didn't really start until middle school, because back then I thought that pleasuring yourself was weird. I thought that going to town on your stuff, I thought that was weird. I was like, why would you do that when you can just get a girl? And that's the mindset that a lot of people are realizing now. It's like, it's not fun to do by yourself. It might feel good in the moment, but the shame and the post-nut clarity that hits after, it's something different for men. Women don't have to deal with that, lucky them. But for us, it's different. It's a whole spiritual reason that I can't really get into in this video. Otherwise, I'm gonna be here for like an hour. But I was explaining that in fourth grade, remember YouTube used to be a lot lighter, so I was watching like sex documentaries and like informative videos. And on YouTube there was a whole sex documentary. And back then, mind you, YouTube was not as strict as now. So everything's uncensored. The girl is riding, dude's eating pussy, you know, excuse my language, you know me, I'm a good Christian boy, you know, I'm not trying to put no crazy shit on here, but you know, I like to further, you know, put it in your mind how crazy this shit is. Because I was in that bed right there. All right, my bed's right next to me, the lower bunk. I wasn't allowed to sleep on the top bunk back then because I slept on it one time and I fell off of it. So my parents banned me from sleeping up there for a while. And so I'm sleeping in the bottom bunk next to my little brother. And I shouldn't even mention that he was even in it because I don't want to bring attention to him. But you know, I'm on my 3DS watching this, right? Because 3DS had the YouTube app back in the days. So I'm over here watching this stuff, and I'm watching and I'm interested, and I'm knowing they're talking about academic terms, talking about cunnilingus and urethra, and I'm hearing all these terms, and I'm like, what type of stuff is this? But I'm invested because I didn't even know at the time that X videos and P Hub exist. I'm not knowing that. I didn't find out about that until 2016. And so it ended up leading to an addiction. Going towards middle school is when I first, you know, started pleasuring myself. And at the time, I was trying to do sports. I wasn't that good in the first year of me doing like track and field because I was real nice at that in middle school. And in the first year, I wasn't good, right? I wasn't up to par with the competition. Then I went to 8th grade. All the competition that I had to face, they all went to different parts of the city, or they transferred to like high school and stuff, and I'm still in middle school. So now I'm having a much better year, but it's a big problem. Lust is getting in the way, right? I'm finding myself having to pleasure myself everywhere. I'm not just doing it in my bed or in my house. I'm doing it outside. I'm doing it in other places that I've already explained on this channel. I don't think I can explain it again. But it's crazy how it really goes. Naturally, when you get exposed to, you know, those bad videos at a young age, it starts to mess with your lifeline, right? It starts to mess with your psyche. And so when you get exposed to it early and you're not all the way developed to where you can even process what's going on, what ends up happening is you start to develop these tendencies, these habits that go on for the rest of your life if unchecked. It's pretty crazy how childhood trauma is. That's something I've been like hella interested about recently, is how things that happened to us as a kid has shaped us and has caused us and led us to the habits that we do now. And unless you do a lot of self-reflection and really a lot of soul searching, it becomes hard to change because it's like automatically into your code. It's like if you're on the internet and you're always searching up one thing, so when you actually search up even just one letter, the whole website pops up. It's kind of like that. You just start getting used to it. And I remember talking to people in my class about this because I knew this one dude, he lost his virginity at the age of 11, and it wasn't willingly either. He was like SA'd. He was assaulted, right? He was groped, and I guess this person ended up taking his V card. And what ended up happening down the road was he became very lustful. It became very hard for him to reject women. It became very hard. Any woman he saw, he was on that. And women that were on him, he would basically let them into his bubble, because for him, it was like he was so used to people like taking his body that he kind of just lets them, even if he doesn't want the females like that. And it's crazy to me when I think about that. I'm like, wow, like it's crazy how your psyche can just get completely messed up by that. And it takes a long time to even figure out why this is even happening. A lot of times it's a brutal, rude awakening that forces you to look within and realize, hey man, I gotta change my ways. And so that really led to a lot of people, you know, you start to feel a lot of societal pressure, especially when you're a black person like myself. It's seen as masculine to get a lot of women. If you're somebody that doesn't get girls, you get shunned out. You're kind of looked at like, man, this dude's a little weird. Compared to if any other race, they don't get a lot of women. It's like, it's okay. Take your time. It's all good. Wait till marriage. For a black man, though, it's, man, you weak. Man, what, you scared or something? You know, it's a lot of things that can kind of make you fold under pressure. And a lot of times you start to get low self-esteem. That's something I struggle with to this day, is you start to envy and have a low self-esteem because you're thinking that you should be having this every day, all day, especially when you watch bad videos. And it's so accessible. I remember a podcast from Kanye, and you know, obviously we've seen what Kanye's been on the last couple of months and years. He's been kind of on a downward spiral. But on a podcast, he says something really interesting. And he brought up how back in the days, there was actually a barrier of entry to watch bad videos, right? If you had to go to the magazine store, you know, a lot of it was locked up and you had to show ID to get it. And you know, a lot of times they were only able to find it through their parents or maybe older siblings. You had to actually shark out and really find this stuff. Now, at the click of a button, you can watch it. On Twitter, you can scroll down, and if your profile is above 18, easily find porn, no problem. It's too accessible now, and it's led to a lot of people having issues with women. They've been feeling entitled because they watch it, they feel like, hey, I'm supposed to have this. And then they realize that real life doesn't work like that, and then they become incels and start to hate the wrong people. It's like, nah, man, the system messed you up, but now it's on you to fix that and make a better future for yourself. And I'm talking to myself when I say this too, not just other people. And that's really what it comes down to when it comes to watching porn at an early age, man. Semen retention becomes very hard to discipline yourself because the urges come way stronger. It's like them demons and them vices in your ear just constantly come in. Even if you quit the first week, it's gonna be relatively easy. Second week, it's gonna feel like hell. Third week, a little better. A month, things kind of calm down, and then a couple months later, the whole cycle repeats itself. And that's why I mentioned that it's a whole spiritual world out there that you have to kind of get into. And I wish I could tell more people about this IRL, man, because this stuff is just so interesting to me. But it's just crazy how childhood trauma and how things that could really mess up your body really just mess with your psyche and just can turn you into a fucking monster sometimes if left unchecked. And so, you know, as people, we got to come together and realize that it ain't your fault that you got exposed to it early. You aren't supposed to be finding that stuff early. And parents, they can only do so much, because at some point the child still has free will and things can happen accidentally. That's how life works. And so I think we do have to make an effort to mitigate these issues, because ask anybody, the average age that people get exposed to porn is 11. That's not good. It really should be a little bit later than that, because that and earlier, your stuff isn't even developed yet. And you're seeing this through fake images and fake videos. These girls aren't even enjoying it like that. Right, I remember watching a Michael Porter Jr. podcast, and Porter Jr. been funny as hell this summer, man. He been on a press run, putting up hella generational quotes, but he had an interview with Lana Rose, the P-star, and she was mentioning, I don't know if she's retired already, but she was mentioning how, like, you have to go in the lobby, meet a guy, and intertwine with them and pretend to like it. And he was like, nah, that's definitely tough. It was funny because in the podcast, it looked like he didn't give a fuck at all. But me thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's just a nightmare. I mean, for the money, sure, but how far are you willing to go at that point? I don't know. That's just some food for thought. But I did want to bring you guys this video and kind of shed light on semen retention. Really tell you guys that there are a lot of roadblocks to this shit for real, but hey, I can guide you, bro. You have help. Other people can help you. It ain't just yourself. There's gonna be moments in the journey where you are alone, but there are plenty of options that you got to really extend your streak and to really just cleanse yourself spiritually. And I think that's what we kind of need as a society right now.